In the Fan's ancestral hall, Fan Ling Sha pays respect to his late parents, vowing to fulfill their last wish and clear the name of their clan. He believes that once he wins the upcoming battle, the Ling Sha Pavilion will be promoted to an A-class sect and gain permission to launch an investigation. With his prayer to the ancestors for victory, he sets out, encouraged by his disciples who wish him success. Meanwhile, others gather to witness the grand challenge. Some admire the Ling Sha Pavilion's rise, while others mock it, accusing them of using hired support. In Baijia Hall, Master Bai explains that although Fan Ling Xiao's clan once declined, he alone rebuilt the Ling Sha Pavilion from scratch and raised it from a plain sect to a B-class sect with unmatched speed. His profound knowledge of spiritual pets and determination prove his promise. At Ling Sha Pavilion, Fan Ling Xiao reminds his disciples of their agreement to become the strongest together. He recalls his past loneliness before they joined him, and now together they march toward their dream. The challenge begins. A giant whale of the transmuting stage appears, dazzling the crowd. Opponents summon their beasts, including a gigantic ape, preparing for battle. Confident, Fan Ling Xiao reveals his hidden strength, summoning the immortal black whale. The fight intensifies, but disaster strikes. His whale loses control, transforming into the rotting corpse whale. Despite his attempts to stop it, he fails. Memories of his bond with his first spiritual pet, Nian, resurface, along with the founding of Ling Sha Pavilion alongside Gu Ling and others. But his dream collapses before his eyes. In desperation, Fan Ling Xiao activates a forbidden ancestral scroll, possessing Reincarnation, which allows him to inherit the body of a healthy person who dies accidentally 1 year later. He awakens confused in a new body, realizing Nian is gone, and he has been dead for a year. The Ling Sha Pavilion's rise to an A-class sect was in vain. Testing his new spiritual pets, he discovers only weak ones, a teddy dog and a vine sprite, but they must suffice. Soon, he is captured by guards and brought before by Liansu of the Bai family. She accuses him of humiliating her, claiming he drugged her water and touched her. Though he insists it was a misunderstanding, she vows to imprison him forever as a servile slave. When he refuses, she orders his execution. He barely survives as his vine sprite and teddy dog fight back against Bai Liansu's serpent. Just as he is overwhelmed, he reveals his hidden trump card, the catfish in the pond, Nian, reborn. Although ridiculed as useless, the catfish proves its strength by devouring Bai Liansu's serpent, forcing her to retreat in humiliation. The Bai family pursues him relentlessly, but he manages to escape. Liansu vows revenge and demands his capture, while her brother scolds her for underestimating the catfish. He explains that although catfishes are considered ominous beasts destined to devour their masters, Fan Ling Xiao alone knew their secret potential. Unfortunately, the man believed to hold that knowledge, Fan Ling Xiao himself, was already dead. But Fan Ling Xiao, now living under a new identity, makes a vow to Nian. Though they failed in their past life, this time they will devour every obstacle. With Nian by his side once more, he swears to reclaim everything he lost and rise again to the peak of strength. At the Heo Yunlai Inn, travelers arrived seeking a comfortable and affordable spiritual pet mount to take them to the city. The innkeeper welcomed them and offered assistance, asking them to wait outside. Soon after, Fan Ling Xiao, claiming to be from the Ling Sha Pavilion, requested the fastest speed-type pet available. To verify his membership, the inn required the sect code. The man awkwardly performed the code, which seemed ridiculous at first, but after confirmation it was accepted as genuine. He asked for a sonic falcon or shadow panther, but the innkeeper explained that Ling Sha Pavilion had been removed from the league's official list. Records showed that the pavilion had once succeeded in the sect challenge and reached B-class, but after the accidental death of its master, it was degraded. Later, after the league ordered the annihilation of dangerous catfish pets, Ling Sha Pavilion was further weakened. Repeated losses from other sects stripped it of resources, and it was finally removed from the league, reduced to a mere folk organization. At the pavilion, members sensed something important was about to happen, even preparing fine dishes despite their poor state. Meanwhile, Fan Ling Xiao rushed into a spiritual pet service shop, bringing his 2 wounded pets for treatment and asking for certificates. At the same time, he searched for defense skill bubbles, but only one was left in stock. Before he could secure it, a man named Xue Dashuai demanded to buy it at triple the price. However, the shopkeeper upheld the rule of first come, first served. But when the fight almost broke out, the person recognized him as Master Lu. While eating, Lu wanted to ask something, but the man interrupted him by saying why he didn't drink alcohol as usual. He also insisted that they had to drink until they were drunk today. Lu Fengmong, who appeared weak and drunk but revealed himself to be an incredibly heavy drinker. Outdrinking Shui, Lu claimed the last bubble. Soon after, Lu released a pet and spoke gently to it, preparing to meet old friends at Ling Sha Pavilion. At the pavilion grounds, the Mega Rock Gang appeared, declaring the pavilion useless and demanding they leave. They summoned powerful pets like Gravel Turtle and Unicorn Beetle, but a shade feline of the pavilion fought back fiercely. Just as the battle grew intense, Lu Fengmong returned with his pet Silver. Despite being underestimated, Silver defeated the dragon lizard by enduring its attack and striking back with surprising strength, aided by Teddy's feeble urine skill that went unnoticed by the enemies. Frustrated, the Mega Rock Gang tried to gang up on Lu directly, but suddenly his hidden pet, an enormous catfish, emerged, scattering the attackers. Recognizing its power, the gang retreated in fear. The pavilion's survivors were deeply grateful to Lu, seeing him as a hero. Gu Ling, one of the members, formally thanked him and introduced him to the others. But Lu concealed his true identity, only giving his name while realizing that the black whale had been turned into the corpse whale through someone's scheme, possibly someone close to him. Meanwhile, Duanyi captured a rare shade feline and was encouraged to keep and cultivate it. However, despair soon overcame him. With all their pets lost and their master gone, he declared there was no reason to remain in Lingshao Pavilion. Despite protests, he insisted the sect had died a year ago and chose to leave. Gu Ling tried to stop him, begging the others not to abandon the pavilion. But Wu and Li Zhou also expressed their intent to leave, convinced the pavilion existed only in name and would soon vanish entirely. One by one, they departed, leaving Gu Ling heartbroken. Standing alone before the pavilion, she prayed for it to endure. With determination, she promised to solve its problems and restore it to its rightful path, begging the remaining members not to leave and to keep faith in the Lingshao Pavilion. At Lingshao Pavilion, Fan Lingshao observed how the place had nearly become empty. Duanyi, once a candidate for the master's post due to being the first disciple and the strongest among them, was gone. With his absence, there was now only one candidate left. Although hesitant as a newcomer, Gu was chosen and accepted the role of master, though she admitted it felt strange to be addressed that way, as if they were still calling Fan the master. The disciples acknowledged her as their leader and asked about their next plan. Gu explained that since their pets had been killed during the previous attack, their immediate priority was to catch new spiritual pets. They discussed habitats nearby, those of water, poison, beast, and ice-type spiritual pets, but all the good habitats had already been occupied. Still, someone knew of a secret place. They arrived and ensured they were not followed. This hidden area was described as the true habitat, with its lord dwelling in a burrow. Different pet grades were explained: soldier, general, lord, and emperor. Rock anemones and cave monkeys, timid and weak, belonged to the soldier grade. However, they soon encountered a firetail's fox in the second phase of the soul-building stage, far stronger than expected for this cave. It turned out to be someone's pet. A stranger appeared, claiming this place as his turf and threatening them. Despite not having pets, Lu and his gang devised a trick by changing the colors of their summoning loops to intimidate the opponent. The bluff worked, made the man give up his intention to attack. Suddenly, the true lord of the habitat revealed itself. A rhino horn panda in the 7th phase of the mature stage, belonging to the lord grade. Its unique skill allowed it to absorb colors, create illusions, and even confuse them by swapping appearances. Illusions led to chaos, but they realized its attacks were limited to melee aside from its color manipulation. Firetails fought bravely, but the lord's skill, called color depriving, disabled them. Lu and the others struggled against the illusions. In the confusion, a clever dog named Teddy, immune to the illusions due to color blindness, managed to locate the real lord and helped its master. However, their rival took advantage, captured the rhino horn panda, and escaped, mocking them as fools. At the East sect, the man who turned out to be named Su Muchuan presented the captured lord to Yo Yang, head of the Leisure Society. Yo was impressed and invited Su to join, but Su refused and demanded his Icetail's fox back. Yo revealed his malicious intent, planning to sell both Firetails and Icetails at a high price. Elsewhere, Lu was mistaken for someone on a wanted poster but was not immediately exposed. Back at Ling Shao Pavilion, they discovered all their sex funds had been stolen, leaving them penniless. With only 20 taels remaining, they reluctantly purchased weak pets from the market, a scent skipper and a red thorn pony. Then, they encountered the rhino horn panda again, now under another sex control. They demanded its return, but their enemies mocked Ling Sha Pavilion as losers who should live humbly after their defeat. A fight nearly broke out, but they were warned against using pets publicly, as it was punishable by the League. In the chaos, the rhino horn panda escaped and returned to Gu's group. Gu Ling pleaded with the panda, confessing his frustration over his weakness and asking it to become his spiritual pet. To everyone's surprise, the panda revealed its spiritual loop. Following Fan Lingshao's teachings, Gu completed the bonding ritual. A giant lord's ring appeared, signifying a powerful contract, showing Gu's extraordinary talent. Soon after, clues suggested Su had been captured by the Ease sect. Although hesitant, the disciples recalled that Master Fan would never abandon an ally. Their doubts lingered about whether they had the strength to confront the Ease sect. Back at Ling Shao Pavilion, Lu revealed a secret. He showed them a note left by Fan Lingshao, instructing them to seek a chest hidden beneath a tree, marked with the symbol of Nian. They found the chest and a letter inside. In the letter, Fan Lingshao admitted he had failed to guide them properly and apologized for their hardships. Yet, he urged them never to give up, no matter how low they had fallen. He reassured them that they still had chances to reclaim their strength and restore Ling Shao Pavilion as the top sect in the world. He left them tools to quickly grow stronger, urging them to use their maximum power. Even in death, he promised to witness their glory. Meanwhile, Su looked to be in pain, his body covered in wounds. He planned to dissolve the contract with his magical beast, even though it meant risking his life. Not long after, Lu and the others arrived to rescue Su. Lu then asked Su to become his ally and help settle the chaos. Meanwhile, the prison guard reported to his boss that Su had successfully escaped. Lu later discovered a room filled with treasures, high-level scrolls, upgrade materials, and rare items. However, he rejected You's offer for peace because his true goal was to avenge the Ling Shao Pavilion. A fierce battle then erupted. You unleashed his ultimate power, the Shadow Demon, which attacked with dark energy. The devastating strikes destroyed the valuables around them. Lu and his group had to fight together to withstand it. During the battle, various techniques and powers from their beasts were displayed, but the Shadow Demon was still too strong. With its evolution power, it overwhelmed them one by one. The enemy's advance put them in a critical situation, and Gue was captured. Seeing this, Yo was delighted, until suddenly Lu summoned the Nian, his pet, a catfish, a magical beast that shocked everyone with its cursed power. The catfish turned the tide of battle. Realizing he was close to losing, Yo launched a long-range attack and managed to paralyze the Nian. Yet Lu still had several techniques that forced the Shadow Demon into a corner. With Slur's help, he bound the Shadow Demon and ordered the Nian to devour it. Lu then discovered that the Shadow Demon's weakness lay in its core, which had not been fully absorbed. By that time, everyone was exhausted from the fight. Lu thought this would be the end of their struggle, but suddenly, a female magical beast resembling a deer appeared and destroyed the Shadow Demon's core. Yo, unwilling to accept this, attacked the woman, but thanks to Lu, she kicked Yo away. Lu remembered meeting her once in the city and thanked her for her help. Embarrassed, the woman quickly ran off. As things calmed down, a debate broke out over the division of treasure. Su Muchuan insisted on taking more since he had risked his life, but eventually they agreed to split it evenly. They then each chose magical beasts to strengthen. Lu later fainted due to an invisible force while subduing a fire-type steel ball beast. After regaining consciousness, he realized his Shao Nian space had expanded, allowing time inside it to slow down. This meant that before the D-rank evaluation competition began, all his magical beasts could advance to the next evolutionary stage. At that moment, he realized that his summoning of the Nian might have been noticed by Gu Ling suspecting a traitor. Lu believed that Gu Ling and the others were unlikely to be the culprits, but he still remained cautious. He also knew that hiding the Nian's existence for much longer would be difficult, so he needed to prepare an explanation for Gu Ling. When meeting Gu Ling, she asked Lu where he had met Master Fan. Master Fan had even mentioned Lu's name in his letter, and Lu's presence brought new hope for the Ling Shao Pavilion. Gu Ling then showed him a wanted poster from the Bai family, accusing Lu of being a thief. Lu immediately denied it, calling it slander. At that moment, Gu Ling began to grow suspicious. She noticed too many similarities between Lu and Master Fan. His demeanor, his way of facing enemies, even the presence of the catfish. Everything was exactly like Master Fan. She then demanded an answer. Was Lu merely a disciple, a friend, or was he in fact Master Fan himself, returned under a different identity? Chang and Yu overheard Lu and Gui's conversation. At that moment, to avoid raising further suspicion, Lu admitted that he was the criminal on the wanted poster. Chang and Yu were instantly shocked by the revelation. They immediately interrogated Lu, but Gui quickly intervened, insisting that Master Fang's friend could not possibly be a criminal. He then ordered Chang to release Lu and told them to focus instead on preparing for the upcoming Grade D evaluation competition. 10 days later, Lu's group set out on mounts, heading to the registration gathering point. They were briefly observed by a young woman who had once helped Lu and had been secretly tailing them, but she soon lost interest. Upon arrival, they found that the number of participants was enormous, including small sects that had risen after the fall of the Ling Sha pavilion. 8 sects registered, and the competition became even fiercer. The Ling Sha pavilion group was provoked by several sects that had once robbed them. A battle broke out, but the Ling Sha pavilion managed to display their strength with the help of a high-level magical beast. 4 of the sects that had robbed them were forced to surrender and promised to compensate them threefold. As a result, the participant slots for that region were decided: Ling Sha Pavilion, the Vangu sect, and Bai Mujai. Among the contestants, Su Muchuan had now joined Bai Mujai. Su noticed Lu's magical beast and was astonished by its growth. He invited Lu to become his ally. However, it was instead the Vangu sect that tried to recruit Su Muchuan, but he rejected them, believing they were far too weak. Next, all the participants were carried by cat eagles to the evaluation island. Upon arrival, one of the examiners named Lu was shocked to see the reappearance of the Ling Sha pavilion. He even confessed that he was a fan of Master Fang. There, the examiners explained the competition rules. Each participant received a special bracelet linked to a magical beast called the Little Rhino, which would record data and protect them. Lu explained the main rules. The bracelet could not be removed. Falling into the water meant disqualification, and anyone who surrendered would receive protection. At that moment, Master Bai arrived as an honored guest, accompanied by his younger sister. When Lu saw them, he remarked that Bai was connected to the incident involving Master Fang. Hearing this, Bai clarified matters to Lu. He also expressed his admiration for Master Fang's abilities and lamented that such talent had been lost. The competition began. The arena was revealed to be on the back of a giant turtle that raised the island to the surface. The first stage was to collect glowing spores. A total of 500 spores were scattered, and once 300 were gathered, the next stage would begin. The participants quickly dispersed, each striving to accumulate points. Some sects resorted to underhanded tactics, such as the Tianyun sect, who removed their bracelets and attached them to their magical beasts to gather spores faster. However, a man named Shang discovered their trick and intended to wipe them all out, causing their entire group to be eliminated. The examiners, monitoring the situation, suspected an attack had occurred and immediately dispatched soldiers to investigate. Meanwhile, the Ling Shao Pavilion managed to collect points but soon found themselves facing other sections. Gu Ling, the young leader of the Ling Shao Pavilion, was suddenly caught in an ambush. Their assailants turned out to be from the Hongwan Tower, a branch of a powerful Grade B sect. Just as the situation grew dire, a familiar figure appeared before Gu Ling. It was Duan Yi, a former senior disciple of the Ling Shao Pavilion. Gu Ling encountered Duan Yi, who now appeared to have joined the Rakshas sect. His presence was shocking, especially when he revealed that Jaime was still alive but had become stronger due to the sect's empowerment. At that moment, Duan Yi demonstrated the might of his magical beast, which ruthlessly slaughtered his opponents, leaving Gu Ling with the unsettling feeling that something was wrong with him. Duan Yi then offered Gu Ling the chance to leave the Ling Shao Pavilion and join the Rakshas sect, but Gu Ling refused. He believed that thanks to Master Lu's presence, the Ling Shao Pavilion was beginning to recover and could gradually rise again. Duan Yi mocked his resolve, belittling the disciples and their spiritual beasts. He declared that their bond was severed and warned Gu Ling not to bring him before Master Lu, as he would show no mercy. Meanwhile, Long Nitian appeared in the form of a child with an unusually long and strange name, Master of the world-shaking super-invincible temple. He fought over a spore and sparked a quarrel with Cheng. To everyone's surprise, he managed to summon a rare spiritual beast. a blue-scaled dragon of the Emperor grade, something nearly impossible for someone his age to accomplish. The spectators were astonished, suspecting that Long Nidian possessed a spiritual petacompany, a rare condition in which a spiritual beast is placed directly into the spiritual pool from the embryo stage. Witnessing this, Chang was struck by a flashback of his childhood, when many had called him a failure without talent. However, that immense power also had a weakness. The beast's strength depended heavily on its master's abilities. Since Long Nidian was still young, he struggled to control his dragon, which even misfired attacks several times. Seeing this flaw, his opponent, Thornback, attempted to strike with his befalling thorns technique, but Long Nidian countered with the dragon's ability, Long's Breath. The battle raged fiercely. Even with an emperor dragon, Long Nidian struggled, often clashing with his own beast, as he clearly had yet to fully master its power. In the end, Long Nidian revealed that he also possessed extraordinary strength, even capable of channeling the dragon's energy directly. With this power, he overpowered Cheng's spiritual beast. Yet before his strike could land on Cheng, his father appeared, stopping the battle and warning him that summoning an emperor dragon had drawn the attention of all the teams on the island. Despite the warning, Long Nidian remained arrogant, refusing to yield, and proclaimed his greatness. Cheng, resolute, vowed to challenge Long Nidian and defeat him one day. Long Nidian accepted the challenge with full confidence, cementing his identity as the master of the world-shaking super-invincible temple. On Turtleback Island, Ling and his panda beast White-Black were hunting for spores. White-Black managed to obtain them, despite being stubborn. However, Ling suddenly realized that 3 opponents had appeared, while he was alone. At that moment, his panda tried to seize the spores from those 3 participants, but since they refused to give them up, a fight broke out. Cornered, they summoned their magical beasts, Butterlong, Shoot Sprite, and Mingchi Cub, to battle in order to protect the peace of the world. However, White-Black managed to defeat all 3. Amidst the chaos, it was revealed that the opponents were actually from the Chinua house group, who had only joined the competition for popularity. They had no intention of fighting. In fact, their pets could only act cute. Unfortunately, their friend Yenmei had been kidnapped by villains from the Gu Annihilation sect, who demanded 5 spores as ransom. Ling offered his help to save Yenmei. They confronted the cruel man, but Yenmei had already been implanted with a spine-breaker worm, turning her into a dangerous hostage. The man gave them 2 choices: let Yenmei die, or become his slaves. But Ling refused to choose. With his courage, he managed to thwart the threat and rescue Yenmei, though he suffered severe headaches and lost part of his memory. When he regained consciousness, the group gave their spores to Ling in return for saving Yenmei. They then decided to withdraw from the competition and promised to join the Ling Sha Pavilion after it ended. Meanwhile, the Supervisory Council reported the current standings. The Beacon Society from the Ease sect ranked first with 42 points, while the Ling Sha Pavilion ranked 7th with 16 points. But a troubling situation emerged. The entire team from the Tianyun sect was found dead. This meant that someone was exploiting the competition's rules to carry out murders. As the second phase began, the rules changed. Scores could now be stolen by touching the opponent's bracelet with one's own for 30 seconds. This change heightened the tension, as conflicts between sects became unavoidable. At the same time, Lu looked slightly annoyed because Jiang kept following him. He asked Jiang what she thought of him in her eyes. Jiang teased him, saying he was a mischievous person. She only remarked that Lu had some sort of sickness, which made him curious and ask about it, only to get smacked by Jiang. At that moment, Su's magical beast appeared and recognized Lu. Su was surprised that his beast was actually tame toward Lu. Then Nie Xing from the Beacon Society, the strongest sect so far, appeared. At first, they agreed not to fight since there were no spores at stake. But after the new rules were announced, conflict became inevitable. At that point, Su chose to flee from the fight. Lu asked why he wouldn't face them, but Su struggled to explain. On the other hand, a shocking fact emerged. Su revealed that they were merely hired players without real abilities, only joining the competition because they were paid to fill the sex quota. Su himself hadn't expected the rules to suddenly change. The competition narrowed down. Only teams that were truly strong and determined could survive. This aligned with the true purpose of the league, to test endurance, not just strength. Yet behind all this, another threat arose. Su Muchuan coldly eliminated weak teams, declaring that useless people didn't deserve to live. Ling and the Ling Shao Pavilion thus became even greater targets amid the increasingly brutal battles. The competition had lasted for 4 hours. At that moment, the first rank was held by the Beacon Society of the Ease sect with 42 points, while the Ling Sha Pavilion was only in 7th place. However, since the spores collected were already sufficient, the second phase of the competition began. On Turtleback Island, Chang and Yu, along with the others, reunited with Lu. Lu had only gathered 5 points, which made Ling feel that their achievements were somewhat similar. Yet the atmosphere grew awkward when Zhang suddenly appeared and claimed to be Lu's girlfriend in front of everyone, shocking them with the impression that Ling was actually a playboy. The official announcement declared that only 15 sects remained. The Ease sect still held first place with 44 points, followed by the Rakshas sect with 35 points, and the Miraculous Pivot sect with 27 points. However, shocking news emerged. Duan Yi was also participating in the competition, accompanied by Jaime, a creature whose body had decayed into a zombie-like state. This raised suspicions that Duan Yi had joined a strange sect. Meanwhile, the rules of the second phase forced participants to seize points from other sects since the remaining spores were growing scarce. Ling and his companions managed to defeat the Yutu sect and capture 9 points. But their plan was intercepted by the Baneful Gu sect, which used Zhang Rower as a hostage. In that tense situation, Lu Fengmong willingly handed over the bracelet containing 9 points for Zhang's safety. Yet Zhang Rower had her own plan. With her cunning, she reversed the situation and caused the Baneful Gu sect to be eliminated instead. This allowed the Ling Sha Pavilion to gain a massive number of points without casualties, raising their rank straight to second place with a total of 45 points, trailing only behind the East sect with 54 points. The closeness between Lu and Zhang once again stirred teasing among the members, especially when Zhang playfully acted spoiled and called herself Lu's girlfriend, which lightened the atmosphere despite the tension. Zhang then bid farewell to Lu's group, as she was declared to have forfeited. After the match ended, they planned to hold a celebration at the pavilion and invited Zhang to join. Once parting ways, they moved on to the next stage. After the announcement, only 10 teams remained. East sect still held first place, 54 points, Ling Shao Pavilion second, 45 points, and Rakshas sect third, 43 points. The situation grew increasingly heated, as the Rakshas sect led by Duan Yi felt threatened by the rising power of Ling Shao Pavilion. But suddenly, Turtleback Island began to sink. The original rule was reinstated: whoever fell into the sea would automatically lose. The participants had to fight their way to the peak of the island, which was about to be completely submerged. The final phase began, filled with danger, as the rule of surrender was no longer valid. Amidst the chaos, Duan Yi appeared with Jaime, now transformed into a terrifying creature. He challenged Lu and his companions, even cruelly ordering his followers to wipe them out. A deadly battle erupted in the middle of the island, slowly being swallowed by the sea. The battle grew fiercer when Duan Yi appeared with his allies. He ordered Lu Fengmong to be captured, while the rest were to be eliminated. Their opponents were no joke. A twisted cheek octopus that had been prepared in the sea from the start, along with the sudden appearance of savage beasts like a brown panda and a high-level soul-stage tyrannosaur. The disciples of Ling Shao Pavilion were shocked to witness the cruelty of their own senior, Duan Yi, who had once been known to be different. Now, however, he demanded that they hand over their score bracelets, claiming it could save their lives. A fierce battle broke out, with each side summoning their spiritual beasts to fight. Lu, who was thrown into the sea, immediately unleashed Nian, who charged at the octopus with his skill. Nian devoured the octopus until nothing was left. When Lu emerged from the water, the bald man was stunned, unable to believe that his magical beast had been defeated. As he attempted to retaliate, Lu ordered Vine to attack, sending the bald man flying. Seizing the chance, Su tried to escape with Lu's bracelet, but he ended up being trapped by Master Guang, who had already been targeted by one of Duan Ye's men possessing a T-Rex spirit beast. Terrified, Su fled, but Cheng appeared to save him. Together, they managed to overwhelm the T-Rex. However, the beast unleashed its special technique, Heart Menace Roar, which struck fear into the spiritual beasts, rendering them unable to move. Amid the chaos, Long Nitian appeared, striking the T-Rex down. He then mercilessly beat its owner until he was left helpless. Chang expressed his gratitude, but Long simply said he was just passing by and noticed the magical bracelet, which he took as his own points. Meanwhile, Yu Tong, who had always been known merely as the pavilion's cook, began to discover his true courage. He forged a complete bond with his black and white panda, White Black, who stood up against the opponent's brown panda with clever tactics. By shifting its body color, White-Black tricked the enemy, landing a powerful blow that knocked it unconscious. Their teamwork secured victory. White-Black defeated the foe and seized its bracelet. Yutong was officially recognized as the owner of a Lord-level spiritual beast. Everyone was stunned, realizing that the pavilion's cook, once thought weak, had revealed the spirit of a true leader. On the other side, the battle between Lu Fengmong and Duan Yi was about to begin. Duan Yi was disgusted to see Lu trying to imitate his late master. Yet Lu suspected that behind his master's death, Duan Yi himself was the true culprit. The battle grew even more intense when Jaime, Duan Yi's pet, finally reached the mature stage. The disciples of Ling Sha Pavilion were shocked, for Jaime's power was nothing like that of an ordinary spiritual beast. It rivaled that of a lord. To test Jaime's true potential, one of the disciples requested permission for Kuan to fight him. The duel began, and Duan Yi demonstrated remarkable progress as he commanded Jaime across the battlefield. Yet, amid the clash, a great secret began to surface. Jaime was able to use techniques that should only be wielded by humans. He could even counter whirlpools on his own instincts, not merely by Duan Yi's control. This sparked suspicion. Could Jaime be something far more than a mere spiritual beast? Mr. Lu then accused Duan Yi of being involved in the death of Fan Lingxiao, the former pavilion master. He pointed out that Duan Yi's ties with the Rakshas sect, renowned for reviving spiritual beasts through forbidden sorcery, were a damning sign. Enraged at the accusation, Duan Yi finally confessed. After Jaime's death, he had been so desperate to bring him back that he sought help everywhere, only to be rejected by every healer. In his despair, he was offered a cursed pill by the Rakshas sect, with the condition that he join them in exchange for reviving Jaime. Duan Yi swore he had no hand in Fan Lingxiao's death. He was merely blinded by his desperate longing to restore Jaime. After hearing his confession, the accusations subsided, and they agreed to investigate the Rakshas sect together once the competition was over. But the tension did not end there. Suddenly, enemies from the Beacon Society appeared and launched an assault. Chaos erupted, forcing Duan Yi to once again unleash Jaime. Yet in the midst of the turmoil, he was struck by hallucinations, as if all the members of Ling Sha Pavilion, including Fan Lingxiao himself, were still alive, welcoming him back. But it was nothing more than an illusion, leading him toward a bitter truth. In his final moment of clarity, Duan Yi realized that keeping Jaime alive through cursed means was only prolonging his suffering. With a heavy heart, he released Jaime to rest peacefully. Amid the flames of battle, he whispered to his companion to sleep in peace. The competition had entered its final phase with only 6 teams remaining. The competition location, now only 6 groups remained. As the battle began, Lu instructed them to be careful against this group. Su and Cheng immediately attacked one of them, but their attack was blocked. Meanwhile, Yu faced Shang Liao, who had a worm monster in his hand. When White-Black attacked from behind, he was rendered defenseless. Seeing this, Yu tried to help but was immediately hit by the man's attack. From a distance, Long's father was seen observing the fight. At that time, he told his son, Long, not to interfere, but Long wanted to help. A flashback showed 3 months before the competition. Shang Liao's family received good news. Their application to become a simple sect was approved, allowing them to participate in the Class D competition. Their family only had 4 members. His father suggested utilizing the special skill of their pet, Scale, called Energy Deposit, to store energy bit by bit every day for 3 months. This stored energy could then be used to crush all the group in the competition. 1 week before the competition, their sect uniforms were finished. His father asked about the energy storage progress, which turned out to be very little, only 2 points. Shang Liao apologized and promised to practice immediately. Back to the battle in the western Gobi Desert, Shang Liao's pet keeper warned him that although his dragon was an emperor, it was only at the mature stage and wouldn't be able to fight against opponent pets at the high phase of the soul-building stage. Shang Liao wanted to use a forbidden skill, but was forbidden by his father, who reminded him of their goal and that they could almost advance to Class D without needing to take such risks. However, Long wanted to help his friend. His father, seeing the dire situation, immediately ordered Long to help his friend. Meanwhile, Cheng and Su appeared to be in danger. Just as Long was about to attack, he rushed to help. Unfortunately, his attack failed to hit the old man. Scale was stabbed and injured, which worried Long. Long was angry because this was their debut, and they couldn't disgrace themselves. he decided to use the forbidden skill and borrowed 10 points of energy from Scale using the power loan skill. A fierce battle ensued. Long borrowed another 10 points of energy and managed to injure the old man. However, his energy was almost depleted. His father warned him to be careful. Long borrowed 30 more points of energy from Scale, with a warning that the loan came with high interest. With this energy, he launched a final attack, Sky-whacking punch, and defeated the old man. In the western Gobi Desert, the battle between Sheng Liao and Yutong continued. Sheng found White-Black's hiding spot and considered it tough. He ordered Arm Teeth to devour White-Black, hoping White-Black wouldn't die. She used a very powerful skill called Lord's Resonance, a Lord-level skill. With great difficulty, Yu was finally able to defeat Sheng. Cheng found Long collecting bracelets. Cheng stated that he didn't want to snatch the bracelets but wanted to thank him for being saved. Long then complained that for the sake of his pride, he had borrowed 50 energy points that had to be repaid within a month along with substantial interest, meaning he would have to train like crazy, which was utterly miserable. Meanwhile, the battle between Maisie and Lu took place. Lu attacked with the skill Fusing Transformation, Saber, and his pet, Steelball/Maisie. After that, the battle was won by Lu. Lai then rushed to find Gu. At that time, he found Duan Yi, who was helping Gu. Was asked about his condition. Duan Yi had finally regained consciousness. Duan Yi gave him his bracelet and stated he would no longer work for the Rakshas sect, but also wouldn't return to his previous group. He decided to stay within the Rakshas sect to investigate Master Fan's death, then would decide whether to leave and asked to be contacted later. Lu thanked him. Suddenly, a high-level soul-building stage pet, Scarlet Evil Eye, attacked. Its owner, Chief Kwai, declared he would end this boring competition. His attack wasn't aimed at the contestants but at the island's turtle, causing the island to sink extremely quickly. Chaos broke out. The governor was furious and blamed the people from the Ease sect. He ordered teams 5, 6, 7, and 8 to mobilize and rescue all the drowning contestants. At that moment, Gu, who was drowning, half-conscious, saw Master Fang's figure who helped him. When he surfaced, he realized that Lu was not with him. Long, who was drowning, was rescued by Cheng. Cheng said that all participants would be disqualified for touching the water. This slightly annoyed Long. If he still had stored energy, he would blast Chief Kwai, but then realized the bracelets were already underwater and they would be disqualified. He asked Scale to carry him into the sky, but then realized Scale couldn't even help itself. The rescue team arrived and asked the contestants to remain calm. Chief Kwai defended himself by asking if he had broken any rules. An announcement was made. 2 teams left. Chief Kwai told the little girl, the host, to announce his victory and stop wasting time. However, all the examiners announced that the competition was not over yet and the 2 remaining teams must continue. The story begins with admiration for Liu survival. Bai feels the man is strong and definitely capable of achieving second place but questions his reason for risking his life to confront the Ease sect. Bao said. Fan is praised for his spirit in leading the Ling Sha Pavilion's revival. The focus shifts to Nian, who has swallowed the octopus and obtained a water-type prime spirit pet. Reaching the peak phase of the soul-building stage, Nian is ordered to ascend to the concert stage. The materials for the level up, frostweed and moon cobble, are prepared within his catfish space function. However, the process involves randomly choosing one of 3 materials like a gamble. Choosing the correct one will allow Nian to directly enter the concert stage, while choosing wrong will cause him to fail the ascension and enter the ascending shock stage, unable to try again for half a year. Nian is encouraged to show his true strength. The ascending process begins. Jun Yunzi declares that Ling Sha Pavilion can no longer hide and must show its capability. He is confident that their opponents will not be disappointed. Nian is told to show his true self. A whale appears, shocking a lord who speculates that the pavilion has inherited the secret of transforming a catfish into a whale. The battle begins. Lu immediately attacked Kwai, who seemed surprised by Nian's transformation. He was knocked back, but he immediately retaliated with his own attack. A clash of moves ensued. Kwai managed to attack Lu with his laser eyes. At the beginning of the concert stage, the feelings of the coach and their spirit pet are connected, so the coach also feels the pet's pain. Kwai challenges how long Lu can last. After some time, Liu uses the skill Lord's Resonance. The whale seems to be eating its master again, but it is later revealed to be concert transfer, achieving the unity of man and whale. The whale suddenly becomes extremely agile because Nian's vision is connected to Liu. Thanks to the enhanced space function at the concert stage, which makes the opponent's movements feel 8 times slower within that space. Lu is determined to fight all out and teach his opponent a lesson. He uses Water Shield and orders Nian to attack. By combining all his magical animals, Lu managed to approach the evil eye and immediately beat him. Lu finally wins and is announced the victor, putting Ling Sha Pavilion in first place. Suddenly, the atmosphere turns chaotic. Kuai shouts at something trying to control him. A creature called a Scarlet-Eyes Krog appears. A visibly exhausted Lu immediately confronted the creature again, but the monster's laser-like pecking attack managed to injure it. Lu immediately ordered the Nian to return. He faces a combination of 4 soul-building stage pets and realizes the creature's eyes are its weak point, but Wan and Vine are no match for it. He is confused, searching for another way. Suddenly, a strange power within him that can speak and attack on its own awakens. Lu doesn't care what it is, as long as it can defeat the enemy. He realizes he is extremely hungry and feels like he's going to die, frantically searching for a solution. At that moment, Master Bai came to her aid. He then cleared the evil eye and told his younger brother that he had to look after Lu. However, at that moment, a demonic figure told Lu that he was very hungry and ordered Lu to eat the girl. Liansu was shocked to discover that it was Lu, the criminal she was looking for. She immediately ordered her magical beast to attack, but it had no effect. Liansu then ordered her brother to help her immediately, but he was still busy taking care of the evil eye monster. At that moment, Lu immediately approached Liansu and was about to eat her. Luckily, Bai, who saw this, immediately kicked Lu. When he came to his senses, he then interrogated Lu. Mr. Bai realizes Jun Yunzi is Lu Fengmong, who had previously harassed his sister. An announcement from afar declares Ling Sha Pavilion the winner of the D-class assessment competition. Examiner Li comes to congratulate them. Gu asks where Lu is. He is told that Lu was taken away by the Bai family for his misdeeds. The scene shifts to the Bai mansion. Lu reflects that after Nian's level up, he didn't expect a monster that could kill him to appear, and he ended up being brought back to the Bai mansion, where everything began. He feels fate is conspiring against him. Bai admonishes him, stating that justice has finally arrived. He criticizes Lu Fengmong as a lecher and compares him to the respected Master Fan. He recounts how he and other major sects once looked down on Master Fan who came from an ordinary sect, but Master Fan remained calm and kept moving forward without surrendering to fate, supporting the pavilion alone with great tolerance. He questions if Lu Fengmong can compare to Master Fan and asks what he will do now. Lu is determined inwardly that he cannot stop here because he must investigate Master Fan's death. With his ally offers help, promising to repay the pavilion's kindness. They vow to inherit Master Fan's unfulfilled wishes and revive the Ling Sha Pavilion, never surrendering to fate. Bai comments that Lu seems a little like Master Fan, but still demands compensation for his beloved catfish that was eaten. Lu admits he roasted and ate it. Bai is ordered to take Lu to his room to be punished that night. The other Ling Sha Pavilion members thank him and swear to save him from the Bai mansion later. They encourage each other to eat and rest first. Gui then prays in front of the tablet of Fan Ling Shao. She apologizes for not writing for a long time and tells the good news that they are back to being a D-class sect. She feels Master Fan has helped them and is confident they can save Master Lu in Bai mansion. Meanwhile, Lu sure now they can move forward.